Okay, I guess we'll start. My name is Raphael. Hopefully you guys know me. This is Kipper. Kipper's an accountant and also a tax preparer. So we thought we would give you guys information and use this as a question and answer program rather than just showing you stuff, so that we could also answer questions concerning, should I file taxes? How do I file taxes? Or my parents are claiming me. Should I not file taxes? How do I get the government to not put any taxes on my income, which is impossible. But that's why we're here. So we're here to listen to you guys and hopefully answer some questions. So does anybody have any questions? Not yet.
I made you a little packet with sample forms that you can go with you, and then you have blank forms. I apologize if my voice is a little squeaky. So I'll try and go in a logical order, starting with when you get a job and you fill out the W-4 form, which you probably all did.
So it's this form. What is this?
W-4.
W-4?
Yeah. So it is kind of confusing. All the IRS instructions make me nervous, and I've been doing taxes for more than 40 years, and they make it more complex than it needs to be. So I'll try to just simplify it for you. If you're a student and your parents claim you as a dependent, you would file exempt or a 0. If that's not the case, then you're always going to file as one yourself, unless you're married and you have children, and then those numbers change. If you'll let me go through everything, and then we'll take questions at the end. So the Arizona form also is called the A4. That's the one that you decide to continue for the Arizona withholding. It also has the election to put down a percentage of 0. And the same thing with them. If you're just a single person, I would suggest you start with that 8%. If you're married, you have dependents, then it goes up from there. So
you're saying the 0.8%?
I'm saying you start, if you're a student and you're claimed, then you just check box 2. Okay. But if you're not a student, if you're not a full-time student under 24, and your parents don't provide more than half of your expenses, then you would think about going to the higher, the 8% and up. But I'll show you the tax table in a little bit. So the next thing, at the end of January, take my cough up. You should receive a W-2. If you work here at ASU and you have work studies, yours usually comes a little sooner. So you have a pretend one that I made up with me. Supposedly I made $3,500. I had $450 withheld. You'll always have Social Security and Medicare taken out regardless, so that'll always be in your stuff. So that's the form we're going to use to do the tax return, which is the 1040BC. So it's pretty simple. If you look, it says wages, income, box 1 of your W-2. So you look at your W-2 form, and that says $3,500. Then the next box says, interest. Sometimes you'll have interest on a savings or checking account. That would go there. It's usually like $1, or maybe it's more. If it's 50 cents or more, you round up to the next whole number. If it's 50 cents or less, you round down.
Okay, so I've got a question for you. So some of our students, they get their financial aid in fall semester, they get $5,000, and they put it in their savings account. So from August until December, they earn interest,
Mhm.
Do they have to claim that on their taxes?
Yes, yeah. So that would go online too.
Okay.
And also if they got unemployment compensation, if they were fired from a job or if they had to leave, that's all taxable income too. So the next one is the dependent number. On line 5, it says, are you claimed by someone else? That would be your parents, and you would check yes. And then it gives you a number in there. So this is a little tricky when you get to the taxable income. So it says, if someone can claim you or your spouse in a joint return, check yes. And if no one can claim you, then you, a joint return, you can get $10,000 in fees. Well, that's not exactly true, but, so we start out,
So you're talking right here, right? Line 5.
line 5. I'm trying to figure out how that's the 31. Well, I named him.
The 31, that's somebody paying you, so that's the back page.
Right. On page 6.
Yeah, so there's a worksheet in the back of this, on the second page of this form.
We start out with the income that we have from the same box 1 on your W-2. And then we have a standard deduction. You will always have a standard deduction, but you may not have an exemption. That exemption will go to your parents. They will use it on their tax return.
Kipper, what's the difference between a standard deduction and an exemption?
An exemption is basically about, it's more money than the standard. That's why your parents need it.
Right.
To claim you. It's also that if you provide more than half of someone's upkeep, if you're a student full-time under 24, then your parents can claim the exemption for you. If that changes and you become married or emancipated, then you will get the exemption yourself.
So in other words, if you're a dependent on your parents, that's the exemption.
That's their exemption will be.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you can take your own exemption.
Yeah, the question, students have SSI.
Yeah,
Social Security, Social Security benefits?
that doesn't go on.
No.
It's not earned income, that's what we're looking at.
From the federal government.
Yeah.
Right, so if you're getting some type of Social Security benefits, it's not considered income.
Okay.
It's considered, yeah, so you wouldn't file your taxes based upon it.
Okay, it's, I have SSI disability.
Right, so it's not, so you wouldn't fill it out on the
Okay.
tax one.
Yeah, I'm just, let me go through and then we'll come back and we'll go over each little thing, I promise, okay? So from this worksheet, we got 3150. Everybody there? Not there? Okay. All right, so we take that to the front, we subtract that number from our income, and our taxable income is $350. So now, if you go to the tax table, that's like on page 7, you'll see that it has a row of numbers. You come down to $350, and you go across where it says single. So your tax is $34. Okay, they have one in the That's good. Now, you also have a second tax table if you made $3,500 and still only paid $348 in taxes as a single person with your own standard deduction. So you had 450, or I had 450 withheld from my federal that was paid in, and I only owe 34, so I'm going to get back a refund of $460. Now, at the bottom of the form, it asks you for a routing number and an account number. Those that will direct deposit the money into your account. Or they can send you a check. Usually, if you file by paper, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get your money, a check in the mail. It takes about 2 weeks to get it automatically deposited, so it's usually faster. And we'll talk about filing with the IRS to do the food file. So next, after we get done with the IRS, we do the state of Arizona. It's the 140 EZ. And the numbers come right off of the federal tax return. So same thing, our W-2 form said I made $3,500. And if you look down at the very bottom of my W-2, you'll see that the state income tax I paid was $280. So that number is going to come over here to line number 12. Oh, it's okay. They have one on the board, yeah. So let's go through the 140 or the Arizona return. Same thing, we got our federal adjusted gross 3,500. Now here we have the standard deduction and personal exemption. Because your parents claim you're not going to get the personal exemption, but if you have the standard deduction, that's $7,194. So basically, you can make up to that much money and still not pay any taxes.
Yeah.
But you're going to get back your 280 because you don't owe the state any tax. Same thing with them, you have a refund, and at the bottom of your 140 EC, it also has the routing number and account number. And they both have a mailing address if you fill out this form and you want to mail it in. Or if you want to do it online, also you have to get there most of it. So, there's also an optional table that gives you some idea of the same, the $3,500 you would owe the state night. So that gives you some idea of the numbers. And that money, if you don't file, it just sits there. And it does no one any good, you know. It's your money, they took it out of your paycheck. The last form I wanted to show you was this. It's called a 1098T. You get that from the university.
So all of you received the 1098T on your My ASU. That's what that, it's all posted on your task list. It says tax information 1098T.
And that information you need to give to your parents, as well as, this shows your tuition, but it doesn't show your books and your supplies, or your lab fees, or your new iPad, or your new anything. And those numbers are what your parents use to get a credit on their account, on their tax return. So they can get about $2,500, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if they owe like $3,000 in taxes and they have a credit for $2,500, then that takes it down to $500 what they owe. So you want from the IRS? There's the IRS.gov, and then there's also Arizona Department of Revenue, and they both have free filing on the website. Oh yeah, the 1099, I put mine with, I had $5,000 of tuition, that's not true anymore.
So I have a question for you about this
Mhm.
1098T form. If I don't owe any money to the government, does this help me?
Yes, no, and maybe so.
Yes, no, and maybe so.
If you're a student, you're under 24, you're full-time, and your parents are claiming you're a dependent, yes, it will help them.
It will help them.
Which will
Okay.
help them save them money, they'll be happy and they'll be able to give you more money.
Okay.
So, yes, if you're not a dependent, there's always a credit for you. There's either American, what is it, opportunity tax credit or a lifetime learning credit. Those two. So this is part of the number you need with the tuition to take care of that for you. So it always helps you for credit. Which
Okay.
a credit is always a dollar for dollar, what you owe, and then it takes right off the account.
Right. So if I'm getting a refund
Uh,
in my taxes, will it still help me or will it?
Yeah.
It will, okay.
Okay, question.
You guys are like,
You
oh,
look like-
what in the world just
Okay,
happened?
so who has a W two form? Did you get one already?
Oh, I got this.
All right, okay. So you have some blank forms there. You have a 1040 ED and you have a,
So this is a 1098T, right?
right, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And his is 9,000, mine was only 5.
all right. So would he file if he, I'm just saying, I don't even know David here.
Well, he's not.
But I don't know if David-
He's not 24.
Right,
He's not under 24.
He could be under 24. Look at him.
Yeah, I just got great.
He just got around.
Yeah.
So
Those little gray hair.
he wouldn't use this easy form. He's gonna have to go to the 1040 form.
Okay.
And on there, it will tell you about the credit. The credit will be on the second page where you put this number in. And there's a form 88, something that you fill out. But it
Well,
tells you right on the text.
So let's say David wants to be a full-time student.
Uh,
He decided not to work last year, so he didn't work at all. He still has that 1098T. Should he file taxes even though he didn't work at all?
Yes, no, and maybe so.
So,
Did he work and have any withholding? Is there money sitting there for you that you could have back? No? Then you don't need to file.
okay.
That's why I
That
wanted
would
to
be-
find out, yeah.
Yeah. If they have your money, you certainly are entitled to get it back from them.
No, I don't
Right.
know.
So-
But, the loans,
Yeah, no. that-
So,
you
loans
can't file on the
don't count.
loans.
Well, what happens if he's paying on his loans,
Uh-huh.
he has interest,
Yeah.
and yet he does not have a job,
Uh-huh.
does he still file?
Yes, no, and maybe so. Does he have they withheld any money from him? No?
No.
So then, no.
Okay.
The interest income is deductible. It's not this form, the easy form. It's either the A or the 1040 regular,
Okay.
right? And you can see, go to the IRS.gov,
So what if I started paying my loans off
right,
while I'm still in school?
right.
And then I can file
Well,
one of these days?
yes, well, you want to file if you worked and had withholding.
Yeah, so if
So
you didn't work,
If you
No, I-
didn't work
I didn't work.
and you
It's
don't
not
have
the-
withholding, then no, you don't need to file.
Okay, so I don't need to file.
Right.
No.
I understand.
The other thing is, if you're not working at ASU or someone gives you a job, they may not give you this W-4 form. They may give you something else, it's called a W-9. That means that they don't want to pay your taxes, basically. So they'll make you an independent contractor, and you'll have to pay all of the taxes yourself. And people do that to you, which isn't fair, but if they tell you what time to show up and they tell you what to do, all those things like a regular boss would do, you're not considered independent. If you bring your tools, like if you're a plumber or electrician or accountant, if they give me a job, say, here, do this, and I do it on my own time when I want to, then I could be an independent contractor. But you're not gonna deal with those later on in life, but right now we're just doing easy.
How does the previous form, the 1090,
the 1098T?
Okay.
how does it apply to someone that is 24 but not dependent?
Same thing, are you gonna file? Need to have withholding. So then you're not gonna do this easy form, you're gonna do the 1040. I did bring them up, but, it's part of the credit, it's a dollar for dollar for you. So, like, if your 1098 says $10,000, you're only gonna get 2,400, that's the most you'll get for the credit. So if that will offset any amount that you owe. How about yours, yours, oh, is that yours?
I'm gonna open it there.
Oh, you don't wanna open it?
So is that your W-2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Max's W-2 is gonna look like this. This is the W-2. This is what, if you work for ASU, ASU is going to give you a W-2. If you work for any employer, they should give you this W-2 form. In box number 2, this is how much money is given to the government by your employer. Every time you get a paycheck, this box adds up. So this is taxes, but this is based upon the W-4 that you guys signed when you started working for them. So you told them, remember when Kimber said that 8%? You either checked 8% or you checked one of those boxes and you said, take out a certain percentage of my income every paycheck, and the employer said, sure, I'll do it for you, and I'll give it to the government, give it to the IRS. So when you look at this W-2, you can say 0 on it because you could have checked off that you're exempt, that you're not going to file taxes, therefore money shouldn't be given out. Yes?
I have a
Go.
I have a question for her. In case I do ever get work study, say, this year, so that won't be no good till next year for my taxes, and I'm getting SSI every month, do I have to let them know that I'm getting, how much I'm getting a month by SSI or not?
No.
No,
I
it's
just
just your federal work study.
Just what I work here in Arizona State Work Study.
Yeah.
That's it. Right.
Okay.
Because that's it, it's income, it's work income.
Right.
I have a question now. So last year I worked at Wells Fargo, right, for only 4 months.
Okay.
It was a temporary job, so I made about, just got my W-2 form, right? I made about 8,500.
And so they withheld how much?
Yeah, how much was in box two?
Okay, so there's a problem, because for the first month, I put the minimum, no, I put
Exempt?
the second one.
Yeah,
Exempt.
And then, yeah, I put, I think 1.3 or 1.8 for 1 month only.
Okay.
But then because it was only temporary, my coworkers told me, oh, just put like that you're
exempt.
that you just wanna, that way you don't take too much money away from your paycheck. So that's what I did it for like 2 months and a half.
It goes like this, for the tax table goes exempt, which is the least amount they'll take out. Then it goes 0, which is like the most they'll take out, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, like
So,
that.
yeah.
So exempt means that you think it means exempt, they won't take anything out, but they still do, they have to.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So that just, you want them to take out the least amount, although some people, they like to have that withholding,
Right.
get a big pay, refund and pay off your credit card, or I don't know.
Well, Kipper, okay, yeah, that's a good point. So what's your philosophy on that?
Well, it's your money, and they're not paying you interest on it, so I think you should get it as soon as you can.
Okay, so in other words, what she means, I'll pull up the tax table real quick.
So you tell them to take more than exempt, and you get more at the end of the year in the tax.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right. And you always, if you want to think that way, then always think of 1, I am 1.
But usually that's good for somebody that's working and getting a good paid job, that way at the end of the year you can figure out.
Or if you're married and you have
Yeah.
children, then you have your spouse and your children, those all add up to like 2 or 3, those things. But while you're a student,
Better to get it.
better, to file exempt.
so, okay, so usually you're a student, if you're on federal work study, you got an award for about $2,500.
They have, they
So,
have 1 year that
yeah.
says 35.
So
On page 78.
So let's say you made $2,000 last year. You're single. If you made between $2,000 and $2,025, this is how much you have to pay the government. $201, and it just goes down. So if you made
Then the rest is yours?
$2,500,
Rest is yours.
it's $251. So when you look at that W-2 form,
But if you're under 24, you have to do it with your parents.
With your parents.
So
Well,
the parents can get,
you can always file yourself.
yeah, you can
But
file yourself.
you have to know that they're going to take your personal exemption.
Right.
But you're entitled to your standard.
so when you look at your W-2 form, whatever that income, that tax table says, so let's say you make $2,500, $250 some dollars supposed to be taken out. If this says like $500, then you might think, all right, well, I should have $250 given back to me. And that's when you should file your taxes. because the government is keeping that $500 when it's not their money, it's your money. You should get it back.
Oh, I forgot to, go back to the 1040 EC, that page.
Okay, 40 is C.
These 1040 EC, is it not good? The box. Oh, see line 11,
Yes.
where it says your health care? If you have health care, you check that box, and then you leave it blank. If you don't have health care, it's a big budget. It's like a 25-page worksheet, which I don't like doing. So as long as you have student health or you're covered under your family, that's fine. But if you don't have health insurance, then we have to do something. And you have, on the front there, you have my phone numbers and my email. If we don't answer all your questions, I'll be glad to help you. Everybody wants to be my friend right now, so it probably is better if you email me something. But I can stay, I'll stay till 4 o'clock and answer questions or help you. Whatever you need.
So I told Kipper that if you guys email her, put trio in there somewhere,
Yes, I know.
so that she knows that it's you guys.
Yeah.
All right. And then you will help us. But if we don't put trio,
Uh-huh.
you gotta
Go to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Until after April 15th, when she's done doing taxes for everybody.
All right.
And if you don't get all your forms, you always have the option to file an extension. That's 6 months, goes into October 15th. And this year, you have extra days, you have till the 18th of April.
Okay, so Kipper, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's say I'm scared to do my taxes.
Uh-huh.
I go to Walmart, and there's Hewlett Packard sitting there, and they're saying, hey, come on over here, we'll do taxes for you.
Uh-huh.
How much does Hewlett Packard charge to do taxes, do you know?
I don't know. I used to shop around.
I remember Jackson heard it.
Yeah.
Jackson heard it.
Jackson.
That's pretty
Yeah, I
good.
said Hewlett Packard, sorry.
I would,
That's the printer company.
I would tell you to go to the IRS. Go back to
Okay,
the,
so-
go back to the, go out to irs.gov, and up in that little search box, type in free file, F-R-E-E.
Oh, right here, it's right here, free file.
There you go. And this will start you. They have all the software on there. You can do your federal for free, or you can try it yourself. They do charge you, I think, $30 to do the state. And I should tell you, when you click on there, start file for free. If you're less than $62,000.
Chances are, if you're a college student, you're not earning $62,000.
And here's all the free software that you can use. There's Jackson, Hewitt. I should tell you that TurboTax was the one that was used most for the fraudulent returns. So they're stopped. They're always double examined now. There was like several $1 billion that was given out in fraudulent refunds. So
Yeah, so somebody hacked Turbo, no, they didn't hack Turbo,
No.
they stole,
they stole
They stole
identity
information.
and used TurboTax to file a gut refund.
right. So some people got their identity
So
stolen.
you might want to use somebody else, but if you do use TurboTax, you know that they're being watched.
Yeah. So use any other company. Not a question for using TurboTax.
See if this is true now. 2 years ago, I remember at Phoenix College, some people had some tables out there, and they were saying that you can file on your loans and you get $1,000 back. And people were filing, and some told me they got it. And so I filed, and I got $900 and some dollars out behind that on the loans,
Yeah, I don't know.
you know.
Yeah.
They had some special thing going on, remember?
Yeah.
They had some special thing going on that year, I don't know why, but they had people out there helping us. And we filed on the loans, that's why I was asking him if I can file on my loans this year, you know.
No, not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But that would be a nice program to get all do that, right? Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
so we got a lot of big loans, so
Yeah.
we can get, you know.
Absolutely.
And see, the only way you can file is if you have taxes that are withheld.
But I didn't have taxable help, none of
Yeah,
us did.
so that's
you know.
why I don't
So I think
understand
that
how
was
you got
just a
money.
special one-time program they had for
That's
the,
kind of, we're saying, I'm saying to you, if you worked and you had money withheld,
Right.
you should file and get that money back.
no, I
Now,
understand
if
that.
you worked and you didn't have any withholding,
Yeah.
they want you to file and pay the tax on the amount that you owe. So I should say both sides. So if you got a cash job more than $600, they should give you, not a W-2, but they should send you a 1099. And you need to declare that, all the income, and then pay tax on that.
So in other words, if she's saying that if you got a job and somebody just gives you cash and says, here's cash, I don't know what you're doing, but I'll pay you money. That person that's giving you the money should give you a form, a tax form, at the end of the year.
Right.
Otherwise, it's shady, because nobody's paying taxes on the money that you got. You should be a good citizen of the United States and file your tax return and say, I had income of $600, and looking on the tax table, this is how much I need to give the government. Because the government should tax that $600, you should give that money back to the government.
So if you owe the government and you never work, but you owe them somehow, you owe them money.
They'll get your refund.
Okay.
This thing here that I have, I can't file on that, and pay them back.
No,
That's okay.
it's just the money that you paid in.
So- To find more information about all that, you better to go to Indian School Road and Central where the IRS building is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have them go through your stuff.
I would not advise calling them because you wait.
Right, no, I know, I waited 5-6 hours before.
Yeah,
So
you waited
it's
an hour.
better to go over there.
They have a walk-in service.
Right.
That you can go up to. That's the other thing you can utilize is if you don't get your form or you have to file, like if you didn't file last year and you lost your W-2 and you want to find out what was reported to them, you can walk up to the counter and ask them for a transcript if I can get your grade, and they'll tell you what's reported, like with your social security.
The taxes will be reported.
Yeah.
Through 1040 or the 1040
Right.
I am almost 31 years old.
Uh-huh. Me too.
Yeah.
Couple of times though.
Me three.
You three, yeah, you
Couple
probably.
times.
Squares
So-
or something, yeah.
So Kipper, I have a question for you now. This is the question of being claimed by my parents.
Mhm.
Does it hurt my parents if I file taxes?
No, I guess not. Well, yes, no, and maybe so.
Okay.
That's the answer.
So.
Yes, it may hurt your parents if you file and you take yourself as an exemption. And then they try and take you as an exemption, then their form will be kicked out.
So it affects them with the $4,000 of the exemption.
Right, right.
So you're hurting your parents by $4,000. But that is, you can, I don't know if your parents could file or fill out the form based upon that $4,000 and then do it without $4,000. It might change, it might not.
Well, they're gonna get more than four. Remember when you did your FAFSA and you had to put in all your tax information in there? They're gonna get the personal exemption for you, which is 4. They're also gonna get the credit for you, which is, yeah.
No, the credit is
2,400,
different, yeah,
right.
2,400.
So that will help reduce their taxes. And I know some people are estranged from their families or, there's things going on, dynamics, but just in general, it does help them a lot, which if you make them happy, they'll be happy with it.
Well, kids under 24, all they gotta do is keep track of what their refund is. That's gonna go with their parents. So when their parents get all that stuff, say, hey, this is my refund, so let me have my $4,000
Well,
from
yes.
the parents, right?
Yes, no.
If the parents will give it to
So,
them.
yeah. What happens a lot of times is that people marry, they have children, and they divorce.
Right.
And they have a divorce decree, and it says, your dad can take you this year, your mom can take you next year. Well, it all goes by your social security number. So whoever puts in a return with that social security number first, they get it. So then if somebody comes and puts another one in with the same number, it's rejected.
No, I understand, but if they don't do that, they go with the parents and have the parent, then do it with their parents.
Well,
With inside the parents' taxes and all
no,
that.
you still want to do it separate from your parents, because
You
it's still
do?
your income, right? Yeah, you don't want to say, here's my W-2, put it with your W-2.
But you tell your parent not to put you in there.
Well, I don't know, yeah. You tell your parents that you filed, but you didn't use your exemption.
Right.
That's all you tell them.
So they
They're
won't get-
still entitled to use.
Yeah, so that way they
Right.
won't get theirs kicked out and they
Right.
use you as, that's what I'm trying
So
to
they
get
can,
at.
so they could use there's two things, there's the exemption and the standard deduction.
No, I know.
So the exemption is the $4,000, so your parents can take that $4,000 to help them, but you can take the standard deduction of $6,300 to help you.
Yeah, it doesn't affect them.
So then, so it's like I'm
So it
filing
doesn't
my taxes as a
hurt
dependent.
them.
It doesn't hurt them.
It doesn't hurt them, no.
Because that's-
It only hurts them if you think that I'm gonna file my taxes as an independent person. So I want my exemptions, the 4,000, and the standard deduction, which is 6,300. So that's that $10,300 that we're talking about. That's when it hurts your
Well, I
parents.
just want to make the kids under 24 understand, because she said if they file and the parents file, the parents can get theirs kicked out because for
That's
kids filed
that's only
separate.
that's only if the student is doing the 10,300, and the parents are taking out their 4,000 out of the student.
Or
So
if
the
parent-
government looks at that and says, wait a minute, I got a social security number of your child here,
Yeah.
and then I got an independent tax return, same social security number of your child. Why are you guys trying to take out all this money? It doesn't work that way. The government's gonna stop you. They're gonna question one or the other.
And mine was if you have divorced parents and the
Yeah.
custody, the dependency is a divorce decree. So that changes that. Okay, you look like you have more questions, but go ahead. There's no dumb questions.
No dumb question, all right.
Ask me anything, except for what the lotto numbers are, because I don't know. What's your thing? Are you over 1,300? No? Okay. And how much did they withhold?
So your box number 2 is what?
There you go.
Okay. So can we use you as an example? Sure. Okay, so let's go to the tax table.
That's
The tax table again.
And what does box 1 say?
7,503.
Okay, the one I put in there only goes to even if you, at 6,000, you only owe them $155. So see, that's still a lot of money to get back. It would
So
be
you
good
would,
to
yeah,
file.
you can have some report.
And if you didn't file last year, it would be good to file, get that record and file, and then you can have both of them.
So then you file as independent, right?
Yeah.
So you get that 10,300 right off the bat. So if that's your only job, you get all of that money back.
If you have health insurance, if you don't have health insurance and stuff.
I guess a primary care provider, VA.
Yes,
So you
and
have
that's
covered.
again. If you don't have health insurance, I'll try to explain it to you, but it's confusing even to me. What the Obamacare intention was everybody should be able to afford health care. So if you don't have health care, there's some exemptions, like if you're poverty level and different things that let you out, or they'll help you, they'll give you like a credit to help you get insurance. But if you don't have insurance, what they want to know in the 25 pages I got to fill out is who's in your household, how much money is there, what you should have bought a premium at, what's the bronze level and what's the silver level, and if you had coverage any time during the year, 1 month or no month. So it's like that formula that they have to come up with. Most of the time, if you're a student and you're, you know, below the, I think it's 15,000 poverty level, you can get in the gym, they will give you a credit. In that box, that line, I told you 5 or 11, that's where that credit would go for. But that's a whole can of worms that we really don't want to
So-
use it. But if you have health insurance, do the thing.
So how would it look? I'm a college student, I'm only earning at the best $4,000.
Okay.
All right, so I don't have health insurance. So,
You don't have student health or your parents,
no,
either one.
they're not helping me, I'm not getting any insurance.
Well, then
Fill
we
out
need
that
to talk.
25 page.
Yeah, we need to talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Will
Let me
they,
see, are you still in the IRS?
yeah,
Go to the, affordable care.
just want to search that or in the IRS?
Go to the IRS. Because it's an 88, I can't do the form number. But there's a form that you fill out, you put numbers in it.
Got a question.
Insurance?
Affordable care.
Oh, wait.
Last year, a friend of mine filed income tax returns.
Mhm.
They didn't have healthcare,
Right,
and he's below the level.
he got an exemption then.
No, he had to pay $150
Yeah, and that happens.
because he didn't have healthcare.
Right, Yeah.
That's what they charge him, $150.
right. So that would go on that line 11, and they would take that out of his refund. Now, the problem is,
8965, is that?
the problem is logistically, your W-2 form is going to be here by the end of January. The 1099 is going to be here at the end of February, but the affordable health care information, that won't get to you until the end of March. So, next year it's supposed to change, but this year it's going to be hard. But, go down, let's see. Yeah, this is part of what you put everybody in your household, their social security number.
No, that's what she just. Yeah, that's-
But it gets kind of, yeah. Any more questions? You want to do it by paper or you want to do it online? You're more familiar with the same form that you have there will pop up under the tax software, only it'll be different. It'll say, what does your box 2 say in your W-2, or what does your box 5? And you put a number in, and then it will calculate all of that for you. You'll just go step by step, except for the state, they will charge you to do that.
So I got a question for you, Kimber.
Mhm.
What happens if I just want to do my federal tax return, not my state?
Well,
Is it legal? Is it illegal?
yeah,
Will I get in
no,
trouble?
and maybe so. The IRS is about the state is about 2 years behind. So in 2 years, they'll find you. They'll send you a love letter that says, hey, Raphael, you forgot to file
Your
your
Arizona tax.
Arizona tax return. Yeah. If you owe them money. If you don't owe them any money, they may not talk to you at all. But they'll find you if they.
If I owe money to
Yeah,
them.
they'll find you, yeah.
So if I don't owe money to my federal,
Mhm.
let's say I'm getting a refund like Mac, cha-ching, all this money, could I assume that I shouldn't file my
Well,
Arizona?
Max, at the bottom down there, how much money did they take out for your state?
Yeah, there should be a state.
At the very bottom of it's the box,
The state income tax?
yeah.
Yeah.
202.
So if you want to throw away $200, that's fine, but,
So there.
Do not want to
yeah,
go.
no. you wanna-
So those 2 boxes is what you're getting back,
Okay.
technically.
Okay.
The other thing we did talk about was, at the top, there's a box that's to check if you want to donate to the federal election fund. And that doesn't come out of your refund, that's kind of confusing. It's just something that they set up, and you can say yes, contribute $3 or no. That's
Where does it
at the
come
very
out
top. It comes out of a federal fund, but it doesn't come out of your refund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it it's just something, I have no comment about political things at this time.
Ain't nobody gonna report.
Well, yeah, no.
I know.
So, I just got my 1098T form, right?
Okay.
And it says that I got 9,500 appreciation off fields and all that.
Uh-huh.
Out of those 9,500, 7,000 was grant money, which
Right.
is
That's fine.
And then I got like 2,000 loan, and I paid 1,500 cash.
Mhm.
Do you have like an idea of how much I can get?
No, well, the most is gonna be a credit, the top amount's $2,400. But you wanna put in everything in there, so you gotta remember you bought books, you bought
Right.
supplies, you bought, you know, there are other expenses that you have on top of just that. So, that number plus all the rest is what you'll use. But it still comes down to the percentage, it's not the total amount, dollar for dollar. The
Okay.
credits will be,
So I have a question. So I'm using Max as an example again. So
okay.
we're saying that Max is getting all his money back.
Uh-huh.
With Jose's 1098T, let's say Max has this exact same amount. Does that help Max to get any more money, to get anything else?
Yeah, no, I think so.
Well, if he's already getting all his
Is
money,
he independent?
he's independent.
Okay, and he's dependent.
Oh, well, I'm just saying his
Independent.
numbers,
He's dependent.
his figures, not I'm not using Jose,
Well-
just Jose's 1098T.
Okay, if he is a dependent, it doesn't help, it helps his parents.
Okay,
But if he's independent, he can use all of it himself.
right, but does it give him more money?
No,
Okay, so it doesn't give
doesn't
him more
give
money.
his parents.
I don't think I've seen it. I think I saw it last year. I don't think I got it yet. but-
Yeah, you can click on your My ACO, it should be there as a link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and give it to
So,
him.
so it doesn't, so if you're getting all of your tax return money back, like the maximum, and the 1098T form doesn't really do anything for you. It might help your parents, because then you give it to your parents, and if your parents owe money, it might reduce that amount that they have to pay back to the government. Yes, Derek?
So do you, do I put that on mine or my mom puts it on hers?
Your mom.
Because if your mom claims you
For that, for like the tuition?
for taxes, no, but for taxes, then you give it to your mom.
So I don't put it, include any of the?
No, because it doesn't help you, it'll help your mom more than it'll help you.
And when you give it to your mom, also put down the books and the other expenses that you have. So she
And where
has the
would she
total.
like put that in her?
Well, I would just write it down for her.
Yeah, just write it down.
But like, what, where does that go in her?
Well,
tax?
it'll go with, she will put it in her tax return.
Yeah,
So like what section? would
okay,
she-
so, we'll show you, hold on.
Page 2 of the 10.
Yeah.
Got it.
Go down to the second page. See right there on line 23, it says educational expenses. And then on the second page, there's a online,
Educational credits,
yeah, right there.
line number 50.
And there's a form
Yeah.
that she'll fill out.
So Form 8863 will break it out and say, okay, you have tuition, you have your financial aid, and then you're gonna tell her, hey, Mom, I spent 3,000, or not even 3,000, I spent $1,000 in books. Your mom can put that on that form, Form 8863, or her tax preparer will do it for her, and that'll give her more of a credit.
Okay.
And is that the credit that she would get for like American Opportunity
Yeah,
Education?
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, so she should do it even if she doesn't know if like she owes.
right.
Right, it'll only help her if she owes money back to the IRS. So if she has to eventually make a check, write a check, personal check back to the IRS, it might reduce
I thought she
that.
could still get credit for, like, under the American, like that, thing I read online that you could get up to like, I don't know.
I think
There's
you
like
might,
thousands of dollars in credit that you can
I
get.
think you're thinking of the earned income credit that she could get. That's something different.
No, it's something to do with school, like tuition.
Yeah, that's,
It's a
there's a
credit.
lifelong learning tax credit.
Yeah,
yearly.
And,
Is that, would she get that through that form?
yes,
Yes.
right. The education, both of them are on that same form. It's like the Americans at the top and lifelong learning is at the bottom.
Right. So the lifelong learning is the one.
But she'll need the extra things that you paid for.
But if she
Yeah,
owes,
she would that.
she will be helping her pay that back.
But if she doesn't know, she could still get money from that.
No,
No,
not a
no.
dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
No.
So it's only if she's paying a personal check back to the IRS for money that she
So
owes.
if not,
Right.
just
If she's not, then it's not gonna help her.
If on line 44 it says she owes taxes for $2,400 and then you come down here to the credit and you subtract it, then she would owe nothing. But if there's no tax owed, she doesn't get to utilize the tax credit. There are other credits you can utilize, but yeah.
So it's always, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you get a copy of that tax table, that tax table will always tell you how much money you gotta give the government. So when you look at that amount, you can think, okay, well, I can subtract the standard deductions, I can subtract exemptions. So let's say there's four people in your household. That's potentially 4 exemptions, and then if your parents, depending on if parents are married, or if they're single, have a household, there is a standard deduction that can be deducted from that too. So you subtract it and then find it in the tax table of how much money needs to be given to the government. And then you compare that number to the W-2s on that section, that box number 2, the taxes withheld.
Yeah, the
So
tax,
it's kind of looking around to determine.
yeah, the taxes will be without.
Yeah, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
It depends.
Would that help the student in case that doesn't help the parents?
It only helps the student if the student files as independent, so that
Oh.
standard, that $10,300.
Separate.
Yeah. Otherwise, it should help out the parents.
Yeah, kick them out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It ain't cool.
I know we talked about a lot of stuff, and I know it's kind of difficult.
There's no test,
Yeah. it's
there's
not
no
a
extra
test.
credit.
So you could use Kipper's sample and do it for yourself. I mean, try. If you get lost, you can email Kipper, or I can help you too. I'll help you as much as I can.
It'll be easy when you go on the tax program, they're real simple.
Yeah.
They'll just
If
ask
you
you
use the software, they'll ask you questions.
Right, go right through.
And they'll tell you, yeah, look at box 2 on your W-2s, what is that number? Type in that number. Look at box 1, box 1 is this number, type in that number. Type in your social security number. And it'll tell you, you owe this much, or congratulations, you're getting a refund of this amount.
Yeah, if you called me up on the phone and you said, I'm wondering, I just have a 1040 EZ, how much would you charge me? I would tell you from $50 to $100,
$50 to $100.
depending on how much work I had to do. So think of it that way, you're saving, what,
$50
$2
to $100.
Happy
you're
Meals or
saving.
$2 menu at McDonald's, that's a lot of
Yeah.
free food.
So many buck doubles.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't go to Dan Sanders at Ford, they'll give you $750 and then they want you to put it against a used car or something.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're announcing it right now on the radio.
Yeah.
Tax.
So think about it. If you do it yourself, you're saving $50 to $100. If your parents might be going to Jackson Hewitt, your parents might be doing something else, they might be charged $50 to $100. If you could help them, if you could figure this out for yourself, you're saving that money. Charge your parents $50 to $100.
And the instructions were scary for me, so just try and think of it logically. The instructions make it more confusing, I think, than it used to be. But you saw box 2 goes on, line here, so it just goes like that, it's real simple. If there's a worksheet or something to do, it's only the health insurance is the problem.
So try it.
Yeah, give it a try.
Give it a try. Don't be scared of it. You have until April 15th to file.
18.
Oh, 18.
Yeah, at midnight.
Falls on
April
a, yeah,
18th.
falls on a weekend. And if you don't owe the IRS any money, you don't have to file. Oh, well, no, I take that back. If you earn less than, what's the cutoff? 10,000?
10,000, yeah.
If you earn less than $10,000 right now, you guys are college students. If you did not make more than $10,000 in 2015, you don't have to file. We're asking you to file because if you look at that box 2 and there's money taken out, you deserve that money back. Why are you giving the government, what, 400? What did you say it was? 500?
Yeah.
500, close to 700 because of the state of Arizona. If you're like, you know what, I don't even want to touch these forms because I'm scared of it, why do you want to give somebody $700? That's your money. It's your money.
You work hard for that.
You work hard for it. People get scared because they're like, oh, what happens if I get audited or something? There are specific questions that you answer. There are specific information that you give them. It's legal. It's there because this is the formula that the government created for you. Don't be scared of it. Be smart. Understand this because the smarter you become, the easier you can deduct other things. You can deduct your tuition, you can deduct educational expenses, you can deduct your books, you can deduct a lot of stuff. And they tell you line by line what you can deduct. So this is how the rich become richer. You know how they talk about that? Hey, I'm earning millions of dollars and all I have to do is pay a small amount of money to the government. Well, it's because they know how to use this form
Even your
to their advantage. Yes?
Even your donations.
Even your donations.
There's a lot of students who get into groups or something and go buy water and donate it.
Yeah,
Something
you
like
could
that.
write it off.
That should be a write-off too. You know, clothes, whatever they get to buy and donate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in my case, last year, like I said, I used to work, I worked at Wells Fargo, right?
Right.
I made about 8,500, but then at FedEx, I made about 1,700.
Okay.
Should I file for Wells Fargo or no?
No, you file for both.
Together.
For both?
Yeah.
Even though I made less than 10,000 in Wells Fargo.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the
You
whole
don't separate it
year,
out.
you put everything, you'll get like 2 W-2s,
Right.
and you just
Yeah,
add those
sorry.
numbers together, and then put the total.
Yeah. So you use one form for all of your jobs in 2015.
Yeah, because one of my coworkers, she told me that, she was like, oh, you don't have to file, I mean, we'll make like 7,000. It's like a temporary job, so you don't have to file.
Right.
Because
legally,
I chose,
you don't have to file.
I chose for 2 months, I chose the minimum, or even 0, I think, or I don't remember, but for 2 months, we're taking like 200 out of my every paycheck. For 2 months, they were still taking out money, but not as much as.
Well, try it, when they put the numbers in the software, in the free file, and see what pops up. You'll still get money back,
Oh, okay.
probably, because you're a dependent student. So you just get to use
No.
the standard, you're
I'm
independent.
independent.
Okay, so you get the standard and the personal exemption. So instead of using, if you can put it all on this easy form, that's fine. But you put all the numbers together.
Yeah.
So it's not
the two
separate
jobs,
from each
you
job.
combine them. So you're gonna get 2 separate W-2s. One's gonna say 8,000, the other's gonna say what? 2,000, let's say. 8,000, 2,000, 10,000. You're putting 10,000 of income on that
And
wage.
you may owe, it's like I told them, yes, no, or maybe so.
Yeah.
So you may owe money if you put down the least amount to withhold. You may not owe the federal, but you might owe the state money. And it'll show that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
So you get your federal return first, you get that
Right.
refund, and then take that money and pay the state.
If I have to. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So David brought up something in the past where it's like, if I change my W-4s and I tell them to take out the maximum. So at the end, when I file my taxes, I'm gonna get this big paycheck from the government. Maybe I get 1,000, maybe I'm lucky. The object is not for you to give the money to the government and the government to give you money back, because that takes a whole year for that to happen. Why don't you have that $1,000, adding it up in every paycheck? You could put it in your savings account, you could earn interest on it, you can do whatever you want with it. Don't give the money to the government, because the government's gonna make interest on your own money. The object is to, when you file your taxes, eventually come out with zero. You don't get a refund, you don't owe money back to the government. That's the game plan, because that means you're maximizing all of your payroll, all of your income for the whole year. You're getting all the money that you deserve, because that's your money.
Yeah, well, she answered that when I asked her,
Yeah.
that some of the families do that because they want a bigger, at the end of the year, they
because-
want a bigger paycheck coming back from the government.
Some people, a lot of people do that, yeah.
Right, but the thing is that if you
No, I understand what you just said, if you
can
say
give me, you
that.
can give me $20
Yeah,
a
you
month,
put it
and
in
I'll
the
hold it
bank.
for you,
Yeah. you
but
put
I'm
it-
gonna make money off of those
Yeah, you
$20.
put it in the bank and collect the interest.
Right.
And get more,
So
then,
you always want to claim yourself as one, so that would be on the federal, you do one. But on the state, you have to kind of look and see. You might be in the, most people are like in that middle bracket, that 1.8, 2.7, that's average. It's the more money you make, then the higher percentage that you have to pay out on the state.
It's already 4 o'clock.
Going up by what Walt said, so in that case, why would you recommend to choose what percent? Since he's saying that they shouldn't take away too much money, but that way they don't make interest out of your money.
Well, we're talking about, not independent though, we're talking
Oh.
about dependent.
Oh, but
Yeah, if you're a dependent student, then you would always put down exempt. But if you're not, then you have to put down one for yourself exemption, and then figure out the percentage.
that's up to you what
Yeah,
what happens.
correct,
Oh, okay.
okay?
We fill out our surveys.
usted ayuda, déjeme pagar a mí.
Huh?
Usted ayuda, déjeme pagar a mí, usted no te da.
No, I just reach. I'm just gonna reach over.
Thank
No,
you.
for us, for Trail, the survey.
Oh.
Whether you liked it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Kipper, did you first?
They have.
Yes.
Okay, so Kipper has your information on the forms. If you have any questions, email Kipper, you can talk to me too. If you don't want to email Kipper, you can talk to me and then I'll email Kipper. That's it. Thank you. We'll be here for questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.